Hi, everybody. I am calling this meeting to order for the very last time at 6:30 p.m. We'll move directly into roll call.
With 19 members present, simple majority is 11 and 2/3 majority is 13.
We'll move into introductions and reports. 3.1, report from the executive branch. Vice President Fawn.
Good evening, everyone. I hope your week has been going well. I can't believe this is the very last time I'm doing our executive report, but it's a very short report for this week. On Friday, Freshman Leadership Council had their Spring Fun Time event, which was a great success. They had boba trucks and yard games, so if you went outside the Shocker Hall that day, we had a lot of students show up, which was really awesome to see. This week, we met with President Muma, Provost Lounsbury, Vice President Hall. In addition to our K-board debrief today, we use those meetings as transition meetings for our incoming administration, and we discuss other topics such as K-board, the K-board meeting that we had at Pittsburgh State, in addition to Kansas legislation and how it might impact students moving forward. We also discuss had some conversations about applied learning and potentially having some applied learning opportunities for our senator positions, in addition to wrapping up some meetings with the deans. Yesterday, we met with Dean Mai from the university libraries to take a tour of the basement and see what's been going on down there, in addition to talking about them transitioning a lot of their journals to their digital database. The Parking and Transportation Committee had a meeting this week in addition to the Parking Appeals Committee. They had their meetings, they discussed a proposal to change some of the parking regulations for the university, but also gathering feedback on the parking quiz and what that will look like moving forward. Today, if you went outside Shocker Hall, we had our last SJ event of this session with our food truck send-off. So I would say it was a resounding success. We ran out of our free ticket vouchers for all of our trucks. In addition, we gave away all of our coupons that we had for free Chick-fil-A sandwiches. We had quite a bit of students there. If you went, we really do appreciate you going there and getting to meet a lot of new students. And many students expressed their gratitude for all the free food that we had today. Finally, we're just finishing up all of our transitions and having our transition meetings and distributing the guides to for the incoming directors and not the incoming directors, our directors are preparing those transition guides for incoming directors. And President Howard and I have been having meetings with our president and vice president-elects to kind of ease them into the role for the next session. And as a reminder, tomorrow will be our inauguration for our very next session. So if you're elected as a senator-elect, congratulations. But we'll love to see everyone there, and it should be in this room. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us, and we'll be happy to give you more information for that. I will stand for any questions if anyone has any.
Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to 3.2, report from the Speaker of the Senate. So last week, myself and a couple members of leadership as well as Senate went to NMUN, which is our National Mod UN conference in New York. It went well, which is very fun, and we were able to receive a distinguished delegation award, which is very nice. And we came back, and I feel rejuvenated, which is nice, because that was a nice trip away. And then during that time, I just worked on my transition guide to transition out of the space and to ensure that we have accessibility in the space, whether I'm, in it or not, and to make sure that whoever ends up transitioning will be able to provide that accessibility piece that is so necessary for new senators transitioning into the Senate space as well. Beyond that, I've been prepping the banquet, which is this Sunday from at 11, so please come, and prepping last minute things as we transition out of this space into the 68 session, as well as some class stuff that I'm sure you're all dealing with too. But yeah, that's really it for me. Beyond, we have an agency board of directors meeting on Friday as our very last one. That'll be kind of the end of the session's like formal business before I transition the next person into their role as well. But yeah, that's all I have. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, we move to 3.3, report from government oversight.
No report.
Okay, 3.4, report from academic affairs. And then we have 3.5, diversity, empowerment, inclusion, chairperson Haynes.
Good evening, everybody. Shout out to the last Senate meeting for the session. Woo! So this past week, pretty much all of our agencies have been having elections. Black Student Union closed their elections last week, so shout out to the new Black Student Union president, Courtney Walton. ASC, I believe, has closed their election period, and Halo is having their elections today. ISU will have their elections before the end of the week. So future congratulations to all of the new agency presidents, and it's really important for us to go support our agencies. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we move to 3.6, report from Student Services, Chairperson Adriana Owens.
Earlier this morning, I met with the Parking Appeals Committee and other parking services to talk more about some changes we're hoping to add to the proposal that Vice President Fon and I will be proposing to the Parking and Transportation Advisory Committee. I had the pleasure of going to the SGA food truck send-off to talk more with students who are interested in SGA. And finally, I've been putting the final touches on my transition guide, including any unfinished projects, so that my successor can start where we all left off. That's it for my last report.
That made me sad. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, we move to 3.7, report from the central office.
I don't have anything.
Oh, gasp. We're flying through this evening. Okay. And then we have like 1,000 speeches later, so just get ready. Okay, section 4, public forum and presentations. Public forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate. This is a time for the association to listen to what the community has to say, and to that we offer undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speaker do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the association or the university. Is there anyone who'd like to speak during this time? We'll go Chairperson Haynes or AJ Haynes, if you're coming up here as a student.
Good evening, everybody. I come to y'all not as DEI Chair Haynes. I come to y'all as AJ Haynes, the chapter president of the Delta Mu chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated here at Wichita State. Just wanted to remind everyone that this Saturday at 6 p.m. we will have our Miss Black and Gold Scholarship Pageant. This is our 15th pageant that we've had ever. We're raising over $3,000 in scholarship money to give to 10 talented women on this campus. So y'all support is really needed. Tickets are available right now at the link at our Instagram bio. I can put it in the group me for y'all at $12. And then if you want to pay the day of, that would be $15. But please make sure to come out, support not even just the chapter, but support these wonderful women who've been practicing for months, y'all. We started this entire process in January, so they've been practicing for now like 4 months. So it would mean a lot to them if y'all showed y'all support as student government.
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. We'll be clapping a lot tonight, so just keep your hands fresh. Chairperson Bobbitt or Andrew Bobbitt, if you have something.
Okay, hello everyone. So I'm coming to you as a student, not as a chairperson or as a senator. I'm here tonight to extend an invitation on behalf of Shocker Rowing. This weekend, Shocker Rowing will be hosting several events, including the 50-year celebration, as well as our annual home race, the Plains Regional Regatta. Racing starts this Sunday, April 27th at 8 a.m. and it will run until 4:30 p.m. with a boat dedication at noon. All are welcome. It's an excellent opportunity to get out and see both the Shocker Rowing Boathouse and the newly renovated riverfront. We are having alumni come in from across the country. Like I said, it's the 50-year celebration of Shocker Rowing as a program. A lot of those alumni are also alums of SGA, so it's a great opportunity to interact with members of the community as well as some of the people who helped shape the university into what it is today. Thank you.
Thank you. And he will be missing the banquet for this. So anyone else, please show up. Did we have someone over here? And then, okay, Cynthia.
Hello, everyone. I am coming to you as Senator Pizzini because I got this opportunity to bring back to everyone here because I was Senator Pizzini and not just a student of Wichita State University. So last week I was in Washington, D.C. with the TRIO program and the McNair Scholars and had an amazing time. I was there participating in the TRIO Future Leaders Summit. We were able to spend a very VIP experience day on Capitol Hill, and I was able to meet with the staffers of both Senator Moran and Senator Marshall's offices, and they both actually offered for any student that is from Kansas and would like to apply for an internship in Washington with their office to please apply. Dr. Advisor Fonseca has the contact information that he will be putting into the teams. So if anyone's interested, please, you can reach out to them directly. And it's an awesome opportunity, and their offices are amazing. Let's see, so Senator Marshall also, Senator Moran also has an office in downtown Wichita on Broadway, and they actually look for interns all year long. So it's not even a big application process. You can just walk in and let them know you're there and you're inquiring about an internship. So good luck, and hopefully someone will apply because it's an awesome place to work and it's wonderful for your resume. Thank you.
Thank you. Light clap, everybody. Josh or Senator Mallard, whoever you're showing up as.
I'm speaking as Josh. There are some students that are going to be planning a protest in regards to the library throwing away all their books. I don't have much information because we just found out a little bit about it today, but if you would like to know more, just let me know, as well as current things that you're able to do. I know I spoke about it like 2 weeks ago, but yeah, like I said, we're in the beginning stages of planning something. So, yep, that's it.
Thank you, concerned student Josh. Anyone else who would like to speak in public forum? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to section 5, approval of the consent agenda. It's just our minutes. So are there any objections to approving it as such? Seeing none, beautiful. I know Noah's happy about that. And then we'll move directly into section 6, consideration of pending business, 6.1.
Act on request to approve SB-67-183, amendment to the Student Bill of Rights.
And we have Annie coming to speak in Senator Hatch's stead.
Hey everybody, Senator Hatch sends his well wishes. He is sick, unfortunately, but he did want me to tell you that he is very grateful for all of the work that has been done in this body, especially about the work that has been contributed to this particular amendment. I feel like we've been talking about this amendment for quite a while, so I won't burden you with a lot of talking, but I did just want to highlight a couple of things before you actually get into discussion and voting. So when Senator Hatch and I were first deciding whether or not we wanted to amend the Student Bill of Rights, we decided we wanted to include verbiage that would replicate or insinuate the 504 verbiage as well as the ADA. And I wanted to speak a little bit about those two pieces of legislation, and not exactly about what they are, but about how we got there. So if you were today to vote in favor of this student amendment, this amendment to the Student Bill of Rights, it would do effectively the same thing that it did for all of those people during the 504 and the ADA decision-making process. Like I said, it didn't come easy, so for just a little bit of a highlight, the 504 actually had multiple protests involved, but it started with the 504 sit-in protest, which was at the Department of Health and Education and Welfare, and it was the longest sit-in, lasting 25 days. They did not leave the building. They stayed inside. The Black Panthers brought them food and made sure they were fed. Some of them had multiple mobility issues. Some of them were quadriplegic, some of them were paralyzed. They took care of one another. Some of them weren't able to keep their staff with them, so they had to make sure that each other were fed and clean and toileted and bathed. And they stayed there until they were able to make sure that 504 was signed into law. A little bit just about the ADA. Before the ADA was actually enacted, there was the Capitol Crawl. And at the time, 1,000 people, including disability rights activists from the ADAPT organization, marched from the White House to the Capitol building. But around 60 of those participants did not have the ability to walk up the Capitol steps, and so they crawled. And it wasn't until they had crawled up the steps, one being the youngest, an 8-year-old girl, that we were actually able to get the ADA passed. So I'd like to just let you all know that little historical fact and remember all of those people who worked hard to enshrine their protections. Those protections are being contested today, and this is something that we can do as a student body to change that, and I really encourage you to vote in favor. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. What an important message. This is this bill's final read, so we'll go directly into debate on this item. Is there anyone who'd like to speak during this time? Okay. Chairperson Adriana Owens.
I just want to thank the work of Senator Hatch and Advocate Wassinger, or sorry, student Annie Wassinger, to help champion this initiative. I think it's absolutely needed, and we need to make sure in the next session, though I won't be here, that we continue to champion these ideals, especially coming into a more divisive space.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak? Senator Mallard.
I don't know if this is right, but motion to approve by unanimous consent?
That is in order at this time. Are there any objections to approving it as such? It's approved. And if we could, I hope Hatch is watching this as well, give a round of applause to Senator Hatch and Annie Wassinger. Y'all, I could cry at the drop of the hat with this meeting. Okay, we'll move on to the meat of the evening, consideration of new business 7.1.
Act on request to approve AR-67-022, granting emeritus status to Adriana Owens.
Is the author here? You have, I will grab that for you. You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. I hope your day is going well. There'll be several emeritus bills on the floor. Just to give a little bit context, so emeritus status is an honor that you grant to individuals within the association that would grant them speaking rights at future Senate meetings or cabinet meetings, depending on who the individual is. So this bill would grant emeritus status to Chairperson Adriana Owens. So I'll read a little bit about what I wrote. But So I said, whereas it's a time-honored tradition of the Student Government Association to bestow emeritus status upon retiring leaders of the association, a tradition reserved for those who exhibit outstanding commitment to the association and its ideals. Whereas Chairperson Owens has served the association and the student body for all 4 years at Wichita State University, and whereas Chairperson Owens has served as a at-large senator, a liberal arts and sciences senator, and pro temp of the Student Services Committee, and whereas Chairperson Owens has served as the chairperson of the Safety and Student Services Committee, the Accessibility Subcommittee, and the Student Services Committee in the 65th, 66th, and 67th sessions, setting a high standard for the role of chairperson. And whereas Chairperson Owens was the returning senator of the year for the 66th session, and whereas Chairperson Owens has sponsored and co-sponsored 5 bills and resolutions in the 67th session, and whereas Chairperson Owens has been a friend, mentor, advocate, and inspiration to many students of the association. And therefore it be resolved, section for all my emeritus bills would say that the Students' Senate of the Wichita State University Student Government Association, on behalf of the members of the association and united with the association, hereby bestow emeritus status upon Adriana Owens for her tireless service to the association, and that be it further resolved that a parchment copy of this bill be framed and forwarded to the Student Services Chairperson Owens as a symbol of our gratitude for her service to the association. So I really do believe that Chairperson Owens does deserve emeritus status. She has done so many amazing things this session and in past sessions, especially this session with all of our parking initiatives that we've been working on so much this year, in addition to helping out with the ADHD, autism, and learning disability support funds, and in addition to that, working on so many different things and really guiding so many senators this session. But I will take any questions that anyone may have.
Are there any questions? Chairperson Bobbitt.
Can you kind of go into it a little bit more of what emeritus status is for those of us who may not be familiar?
Yeah, so emeritus status is a honor that our Senate bestows upon members that have exhibited a high standard. It's an honor that lasts session after session. So if you bestow emeritus status, for example, I'll use Chairperson Emeritus Jay Thompson as an example. He was granted emeritus status in the last session, so he can come to future sessions where, for example, in the speakership elections, he spoke a little bit from his experience as a senator, and spoke a little bit during that debate period, informational period, if that kind of answers your question.
Are there any other questions? Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much. So for these type of bills, we go directly into the debating period since it's a first and final read, typically happen at the last meeting of the session as well. And I'll give it to the floor for anyone to speak. But before anyone tries to do what I predict people will, I'd like to speak. Can't look at her because I don't want to cry. So I remember quite a few years ago when we started college, if I cry, no, I didn't. I remember her being like, I heard about this opportunity called SGA. I don't know what it is really, but it's kind of similar to debate, and I know quite a few of you who have done debate before, and who have also done this, so you kind of know what that looks like for you going into these types of positions. And she started, and she immediately was like, I think I'll be pro temp within a week of being in there and being like, I think I'll be pro temp, and I think I know exactly the path I will go to next, which is like, I'll be student services chairperson next, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this. And I really looked at that and I was like, I think I want to join also. I think that's something I would like to do as well. And so I joined too, and then, had it become my entire life for the next couple of years. But in her time as pro temp, she helped organize the safety week and those kinds of things as a pro temp. And she did such fantastic work and showed such remarkable leadership just as a pro temp that then that next year it made complete sense for her to be like, I'll be safety and student services chair, which is what it was called at the time. And so she was. And then I remember in the middle of the year, We had some scary situations regarding her health that had her step down from her position. And during that time as well, it was just really scary for everybody in my family as well. And so Adriana did one of the most enviable, respectable, and most important things as a leader. She recognized that she needed to save the space for someone else. So Valeria, the lovely Valeria, she ended up fulfilling that position. I love her to bits. And then she created the sabbatical bill, which would address the problem she was facing in Senate directly. And then that next year, she became the Accessibility Subcommittee Chair, which was one of the first positions here that really championed accessibility in the space, especially for people with chronic illnesses, especially for people who deal with or have a disability, like myself and many of us within this room. And then this next year, when I became speaker, I was like, Adriana, are you gonna run for leadership? And she ended up running, and she was one of those people that's just, you know, when you see a leader that they're gonna just do fantastic work. And she has embodied that, passing the accommodations bill this year, following up the sabbatical bill, the campus parking bill, helping with initiatives and doing everything she can. And she's one of those people that, even outside of just being her sister, I look at her and I go, wow, she's really gonna do a lot in the world, and she's really going to leave a legacy here for the rest of her life. So you should give her emeritus status. So yeah, and I asked Matthew to do this because I was like, I don't want to be the one to do it. She's my sister. And he so graciously said yes and wanted to anyway. So yeah, but I'd love to hear other thoughts because I know we might want to pass with consent, and that's beautiful, but I know we should probably give each other our flowers when we can. Anyone else who would like to speak? Throwing it to the floor. Senator Hansen, and then we'll go to Senator Stinnett.
Yeah, so I've had the pleasure of being Adriana's pro temp for 2 years now, and she is quite literally just the best leader I have ever met. She is, you're gonna make me cry. Stop looking at me. She's courageous, and she's beautiful, and she's so well-spoken, and I just know that anything that she heads towards, she's gonna win it because that's just the kind of person that she is. So yeah.
Senator Stinnett.
Personally, not a crier, but that's okay. I just wanted to say, coming into this session, being a brand new senator, not having a clue what was going on, I'm gonna be so honest, I was completely lost when I very first got in here. Having Adriana as a leader and someone to help guide me has been so important and beneficial in this space, and I can't say enough about Adriana and everything that she has done and everything that she's taught me. Truly just an amazing person, and I see no reason why this should not be given to her. I know that this is going to be kind of an echoed sentiment, but I mean, just an amazing person overall. So.
I would be pretty remiss to not say anything about Adriana. When I first got to SGA, I usually don't cry too. That's crazy, bro. Sorry. Okay. When I first got to SGA, I came in, I was appointed, so I came in kind of in the middle, and I was like completely confused. I was like, I don't know where to start. I got put in her subcommittee, and she was actually the one that had the idea about the ADHD bill. And she was like, this is something I want to do. And throughout that whole entire process, she was one of the biggest people that helped me with anything that I needed. And she's very committed in everything that she does. And I don't know, you're going to go really far, Adriana, you really are.
Well spoken. Anyone else who would like to speak during this time? Okay. Then we'll move directly into voting.
Voting is open. And the motion. Motion passes unanimously.
my mom is watching this. I want you all to know she will be watching this when it's published to YouTube. So she will hear those words and she will be like, I love them. Okay, we move directly into 7.2.
Act on request to approve AR-67-023, granting emeritus status to Kylie Hauer.
You have the floor.
So this is bill number, of all my emeritus bills, bill number 2 of 3. So 2 more to go after this, but I'll read off what I wrote, so I'll skip the parts that repeat. But whereas President Howard has served the association and the student body for all 3 years at Wichita State University, and whereas President Howard has served as an underserved senator, liberal arts and sciences senator, speaker of the student senate, and student body president, whereas President Howard has successfully led both the legislative and executive branches in the 66th and 67th sessions and has created a high standard for the role of student body president and speaker of the student senate, whereas President Howard represented the association at Higher Education Day in the 66th session, the monthly K-Board and SAC meetings, and at numerous other events on behalf of the association, and whereas President Howard has been a tireless advocate, friend, mentor, and inspiration for countless students within the association. I really do believe that Kylie does deserve the emeritus status. She stepped in the Speaker of the Student Senate at a tough time in our Senate where we had some turnover within the speakership position, and in this session has really led us through many difficulties, including our shortfalls. And Kylie, you're the strongest person that I know, and I really do believe that you do deserve the emeritus status, but I will answer any questions anyone may have.
Any questions? Seeing none, we'll go directly into debate. I have thoughts and words. Here's my first words. Kylie, Kylie, Kylie. So I first met Kylie as when she started becoming a senator, and she joined, and I was like, oh, this girl's gonna do great work. And I was right. She truly, I would not be the leader I am without you. I think being on your leadership team proved to me what a leader should be, and like really outlined, this is how you be a strong woman in leadership at times where, you know, people are looking for someone to blame and looking for someone to be like XYZ. And after watching you step into that role as speaker, I was like, maybe I could do that. And that to me is what a leader is. It is, you know, pushing other people who are like, you know, with you to leadership, like bringing them up. You like truly build bridges. And this year I cannot speak enough about the fantastic work you have done, the fantastic leadership team you have built. You truly have set the highest standard. And I can't see anyone else, you know, just like, yeah, your shoes are they're gonna be hard to fill, but I'm so excited to see what kind of standard you set and also the legacy you will bring to WSU, because we will be hearing your names throughout these hall for the rest of this university's tutelage, and our legacy is there. It has been truly an honor to be a member of leadership with you and to be one of the 3 females leading a branch for the 2nd year in a row. You know, and we'll hear all those things at the banquet, but truly, team, there's no one who deserves it more than Kylie Hauer. But I'd like to throw it to you all. Senator Mallard.
Yeah, I knew Kylie kind of before SGA, I'd say, an SAS, Student Ambassador Society. And for those of you who don't know, I talk about it sometimes. It's where we meet, you know, quite literally thousands of prospective students, and we travel, and sometimes we'll travel to different states even to show them what the university has to offer. And Kylie was part of that, and I know that she then joined SGA, and so she's not only been here for the beginning steps of students, but she's also been here then for the whole process, for students' whole lives here. And so shaping them from literally before they're even in college, sometimes even in middle school. And I'll say those middle school group visits are crazy, but she's amazing, and she knows what she's doing, and I think that she deserves this.
Anyone else who would like to speak up during this time? Senator Pang.
Hi. So I remember texting Kylie right after last session ended because, as you had said, Speaker Owens, big shoes to fill as a speaker. Very, very big. I believe last session was the first time in 2 years that, me personally, that she felt that she brought all the senators together and no one felt disconnected. And we really connected last session. That is very hard to do. If any of you has stepped and seen the previous sessions, we were very disconnected. There was cliches between Senate, but I'm happy to say that there's no more cliches in Senate. There wasn't any last year. And Kylie, I am very much gonna miss our gossip sessions in the office. I'm gonna miss seeing your crash outs and just us cracking it up in the office, and all my love to you.
Anyone else who would like to speak during this time? Senator Murphy, and then we'll go to Chairperson Haynes.
I personally have not known President Hauer for the longest time, but even in my short time in student government, I have seen a remarkable aspect of leadership. It was not exactly brought up before, leadership being bringing people up, but another thing about leadership is showing humanity. And communication is something that is often overlooked when it comes to being in a position of authority. But just being a person first and showing that, like, your title may say one thing, but you're on the same playing field as everyone else, that is a completely underrated aspect of leadership, and you show it almost every single day. Like, I could be in the SJA office watching a movie for a class. It's been known to happen. And you could just come in and be like, oh, what are you watching? Okay, cool. And then you watch it with me for like 45 minutes. And it's not like are you doing anything productive? It is, you're a person first. And that is something that, again, I see in you every day and is something that is incredibly valued in leadership.
Chairperson Haynes, and then Chairperson Bobbitt.
Hey y'all. So for those who don't know, actually me and Kylie joined Senate at the same time. We both got confirmed like in that huge chunk of like 27 senators getting confirmed like the same day. But since then we've been real cool. She's my sister in complaining and crashing out. Yeah. So if you ever have anything to complain about me, blame her. She's really the catalyst for all that. And this really has been a pleasure, like working with her, and then working under her last session, because last session was something, y'all. But just to have her like kind of hold everything together and see that happen in real time, post crash out, of course, because you gotta crash out before we build things together. Just to see all that happen was really cool. So she definitely does deserve this.
Chairperson Bobbitt.
Last session was definitely a turbulent start, and I had the privilege of watching Kylie get elected and participating in that over a Zoom meeting in the passenger seat of a friend's car. It was definitely a unique experience, but Kylie stepped into the role and kind of held the position with a air of grace and kind of leadership that was much needed in the past session, and it was amazing being able to work with her and under her in the previous session and working with the executive branch this year to achieve some goals. And I hope that everybody got an opportunity to interact with Kylie at some point, because she is a wonderful person and we are all better for knowing her.
That really got me. Anyone else who would like to speak? Senator Island.
Kind of similar to Senator Murphy, I didn't really know Kylie a lot before the session, but I remember like last spring just seeing her name on the ballot and being like, oh, I just really want this girl to win. Like, she seems so cool. Like, I really want to be her friend. And like seeing her win and like not knowing her, but like feeling so excited about it. And then just seeing all the good work she's been able to do this session has felt like really exciting to be a part of this team and know that I'm contributing to something. And like, and I like, if I don't know you very well, that I'm just like a very shy person. And like, even when I felt like President Howard like wouldn't know my name, she'd like say hi to me in the hallway or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so crazy that she knows who I am. Even though obviously I'm a senator, but I forget that sometimes. But I just think like feeling just validated by President Howard and knowing that she's supporting us every step of the way has been really important this session. And I appreciate all the work that she's done, and she really deserves this.
Anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, I'm gonna say one thing, and then I'm gonna cede my time to Noah Carter, a student who would like to speak. I'll say one thing too, that Kylie, you really know how to make people feel safe, and that is such an important trait after years of the Senate not feeling safe. I just envy your ability to really make a place feel like home, and you really, really do that for people. And I think everyone should have a leader like you. And then I'll bring it to Noah Carter, a student.
I wanted to speak on this one. I'm going to speak, if the speaker allows, on Annie's too. But Kylie was actually one of my mentees when I was a transition mentor 3.5 years ago. And it's been really cool, kind of from mid-range, to see her succeed at pretty much everything she does. I've heard people talk bad about a lot of people, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk bad about Kylie. And I think that's a really cool achievement, and I'm really proud of everything she's done here.
Any last thoughts? Okay. Oh, Senator Siddiqui.
I just wanted to mention that I really appreciate how she like shows value to each organization. I've been the exec for an SGA agency, and I've seen how she shows recognition to all the, even like the smallest organizations, and it's like such a big deal for these small organizations. Just being present when there's like even the smallest invite is like a really, really big deal. And then they also look forward to her, and like they look up to her, which is really important to us. So I really appreciate that.
Okay. If no one else, then I'll move directly into voting.
Voting is open. The motion passes unanimously.
Okay, we move to 7.3.
Act on request to approve AR-67-024, granting emeritus status to Tav Mwinje.
So this is my third emeritus bill and final emeritus bill that I have before you all today. So I'll read what I wrote. So this bill would grant emeritus status, Director Emeritus status to Tav Mwinje. I wrote, whereas Director Mwinje has served the association and the student body for 2 years at Wichita State University, and whereas Director Mwinje has served 2 terms as the Director of International Student Affairs in the 66th and 67th sessions of the association, whereas Director Mwinje has successfully created the framework for the International Student Mentorship Program, and whereas Director Mwinje advocated for students by successfully developing and executing several initiatives and programs that facilitated greater access to resources, promoted cross-cultural exchanges, and fostered a welcoming, inclusive environment on campus. And whereas Director Mwinje represented the association at Higher Education Day in the 66th session and at numerous other events on behalf of the association. And whereas Director Mwinje has been a tireless advocate, friend, and mentor for the international student population and countless other students within the association. I really do firmly believe that Tav deserves this emeritus status. He's been an inspiration to so many of our international students here on campus, And I think it speaks for the next session. I know, speaking to the incoming administration, that many students apply for the Director of International Student Affairs. I think that is a direct result of Director Munjay's work within the association. Going to the international student panel that he had this year, it was a full room, this room completely full, over 70 students, and the engagement that we had from our international student population and the many positive and overwhelming feedback that I had from students really does make me appreciate that all the amazing work that TAB has done. But I'll stand for any questions that anyone may have.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move directly into debate. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Senator Siddiqui?
Okay, so I have a lot to say. So when I came here in the start, it was in January 2024, and I really got involved with the international student community. And they all were like, Tav this, Tav, he's a great guy, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. And I was like, he can't be that big of a deal. Like, who is this guy? And then I met him, and I was like, oh, that he's a huge deal. And he told me, and then I became the president of International Student Union, which is an SGA agency, and then I had to do a lot of work with TAV, and I saw his insight. He mentored me for a lot of like topics and like initiatives that I have had also as a senator. I asked him questions about like transportation and stuff like that, and he helped me in ways no one could. And even the event, the Shocker Barriers event that SGA held, we collaborated for it, and I think he did an amazing job for it, and no one could ever. Like, I don't think anyone could do as much as patience he had during the entire event. It was amazing. He also asked me that, like, since you have experience, why don't you host this event? And I was like, no, I'm not hosting this event. You're hosting this event because it's your event. And he did a better job than anyone could ever do. And the stuff that he's done for the entire international student community, I feel like the initiatives are things that I look up to every single day. I wake up and I'm like, and whenever I hear from him, it's like so good to always hear what he's doing next. If he always wants collaboration or anything, I think it's always amazing to see what he's doing every single day. And he's someone I really look up to. So yeah, I'm really glad that he's getting this status because he really deserves it.
Anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, I have some words for Tav. So I met Tav at the end of my freshman year, going into my sophomore year, as I joined Housing and Residence Life. And Tav is one of those people that I haven't known long, but when I did meet him, I was like, this is a cool guy. Not only is he incredibly easy to like, he's incredibly friendly. He's just one of those people that I think is really a comfort person for a lot of people. Just you meet him and you're like, I feel safe here. This is a safe space to be. And honestly, someone I've always looked up to. And when he joined SGA and wanted to join cabinet, I was like, yeah, Tav should join SGA and go to do the work he does in Housing and Residence Life on a different and broader scale. And then when he came back to SGA and was like, I'll be doing this for a second year, I was like, heck yeah, this is so exciting. Tav is one of those people that I think is incredibly important to this university, not only for what he represents as a leader, but also for the international community, but also for the way he advocates for others. When Valeria and him were working on a lot of bills last year to talk about WhatsApp and those kinds of things, it brought some important questions to this body that I don't think anyone was thinking about until Tav joined. I think he really opened everyone's mind to be like, how do we serve our students better? How do we do better? And he's one of those people that will leave a legacy of excellence, and he will leave a legacy of kindness and respect and empathy. And he's incredibly deserving of this status. So I urge you all, even if you haven't met Tav or haven't had the chance and privilege to work with him, he's one of those people that you will hear throughout these halls his name for the rest of our time here. But yeah, anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, let's go directly into voting.
Voting is now open. The motion passes unanimously.
Okay, I'll be running around. We move to 7.4.
Act on request to approve AR-67-025, granting emeritus status to Annie Wassinger.
You have the floor.
Yay. Okay, let me float around my long speech for Annie, and I know your mom is watching this too. Hi, Becky. Okay, so as I'm sure you're all seeing on that long resolution there, Annie started here an SGA, similar to us as a freshman senator in the 64th session. As an at-large senator in the 65th session, and then as the undergraduate advocate in the 67th session. You should all be incredibly glad that she came back to serve the students in this space again. But I met Annie my freshman year. I don't know if you remember this, Annie, but I remember waiting in line for the garage party, which, as we all know, is incredibly packed, and it's usually the longest line ever. I just remember her very bubbly, like the sun almost, just bouncing up to be like, hey, I haven't met you before. Who are you, and can we talk? And I think ever since then I was like, she's my new favorite person ever, I think. And she, in every space I've ever been in, she has been incredibly kind and empathetic, and not only has she been an advocate in the sense that she is the undergraduate advocate, but she has been a pillar of kindness, empathy, respect, and in every space I've ever been to. And she reminds me of a quote: "To be an activist is to speak, to be an advocate is to listen, and society can't move forward without both." Annie happens to be both, and she happens to be excellent at both. I remember the year that we did not have Annie in this space. I was incredibly sad, but understood. It was a sad time. The room darkened a little bit for the time that Annie was not here. And then when I heard that she was coming back, I went, thank goodness, oh my gosh, Annie's coming back. And as the undergraduate advocate, no less. And I just thought, wow, there's no one else who I could think, she is perfect. Not only has she exemplified accessibility in this space and you know, talking about disability pride and such necessary, important conversations that I think we really haven't had in this space in my entire time being here. She exemplifies change, and she's one of those people that I think society needs right now and will need forever. And truly, 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 there's no one who I could think deserves this honor more than Annie Wassinger. And in her time establishing the Accessibility and Disability Pride Task Force as well, I have watched her in action to just be one of the most kind and accepting and accommodating individuals I've ever met. I actually have never heard half of the things she mentioned until she told me, like a bed-in option for Zoom. Never heard of that before. Or even when I was in Model UN with her, she taught me so much about accessibility and what it means to be accommodating, and she is one of the reasons why I got accommodations. I don't know if you know that, but I got tested and was like, I think I will use accommodations because Annie uses them, and she's always told me that I should, and so I think I will. And this year, being in the office with Annie and just being able to like knock on her door and be like, oh my gosh, Annie's here, thank goodness. If she's not, you know, helping a student, then we just get to chat, and it's the best time ever. Annie is a mentor, an advocate, and an inspiration, and will be for the rest of my life, and I hope that she exemplifies what it means to be a leader in this space. Whoever fulfills that role as undergraduate advocate, oh boy, you've got some big shoes to fill. But I can see no one else who deserves it more. But I'll be open to questions if people have any.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you. We'll go into the debate period. Does anyone wish to speak in debate? We'll go to Senator Island.
When I first met Annie, I was a senior in high school at the finalist lunch for the Gore Scholars. And I remember when, you know, they have some of the Gore Scholars kind of like stand up and talk about their lives and stuff. And I remember hearing from Annie and thinking that she was so cool and thinking like, oh, I don't belong in this group. Like, they're never going to select me. I don't think that I could be the kind of person that Annie is. And then finding out that I was going to be a part of the same family as her and get to share so many experiences with her throughout my college career has been such an incredible experience. I know, like, in those lunch spaces and things, we have the opportunity each year to kind of share a little bit about our lives with, like, some alumni and things. And I know this year, Annie shared with our group some of the hard things that she went through last year. And I think, like, being able to hear where she's come from and how far she's come since that point in time is incredibly inspiring. And hearing about how she still continues to put time and effort into her theater nonprofit and still spends time, you know, working for our student body and still showing up every single day, regardless of what's going on in her life, I think is incredibly inspiring. And I'm so glad to have Annie on our team, and I'm going to miss her so much in Gore next year, and I don't know what it's going to be like without her. So she deserves this.
Yeah, so I'll speak a little bit on this bill. Annie is a rock star. She really is. And she's opened my eyes to so many different issues that students face that I would have never have thought of before. And the work that she has done on the task force, working with the Office of Student Accommodations and Testing, with all those appeals that I go through, I am amazed every day that I talk to Annie of all the amazing work that she has done. I'm so proud of the work that she's done. She has done so much in communicating with different students on campus, collecting feedback, and I just can't imagine a better person to give emeritus status for our undergraduate advocate. I will say, does anyone else have any more to speak on during debate? I'll go to Chairperson Baumann.
So I actually met Annie in Model UN class my first year. So Annie is one of the few people on campus who knew me way back then, and I'd like to think I've grown up a lot since then, but it's just weird having people around who remember the awkward phases. But Annie has been a kind of inspirational person throughout the entire time I've known her. She was one of the reasons that I got involved in this space, and I think it's very important that we recognize everything that she's accomplished and helped shape during her time. I have had the privilege this year of getting to see Annie in action through my work with the Court of Academic Appeals. And then Annie has kind of been there supporting me this entire year, both as a chairperson and as a person. I remember helping pick out some of the women that Annie used for her wall, and then kind of expressing some generalized anxiety about my presentation for Graduate Student of the Year. And Annie was always there to support me, had an open door, and has been an advocate and a person that I could rely on to listen and kind of serve as a sounding board for some of the things I've done this year. And I appreciate her for it.
Does anyone else wish to speak in the debate? I'll go to Chairperson Owens.
Hi, Annie. Annie's the most impressive person I've ever met. Ooh, not gonna cry. Coming into the space, we were nominated together, both being asked questions regarding freedom of speech, both being able to give, I think, eloquent answers, and both being able to be integrated to a space that can feel so confusing. Annie was someone who was able to show me that coming into a space where you don't really know anyone is no big deal. You just chat everyone up, talk to them, and then you'll get to know them. And she continues to do that everywhere I see her. She has been such an advocate, not just in this space. She started a nonprofit at 16. That's so impressive. And she does not brag about herself enough. And she needs to do it more. I would say that this space can feel, you can feel kind of defeated here sometimes, especially when you don't have people who experience things similar to you. And having had Annie as a person, who is the reason I got diagnosed with stuff and was able to confront a lot of personal problems, was enlightening, but also I deeply have to thank Annie for that. So Annie, thank you for that. Because, I'm not crying, I'm not. This place can make you feel crazy. So to have someone to show you that it's gonna be all right and you'll be fine, I'm so grateful for it. So thank you, Annie.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? We'll go to Senator Murphy.
Yeah, I'll start off by saying I'm not going to be able to top that. Over the past month and a half or so, I've spent a lot of time in the SGA office, and every few days, I happen to see Annie in the hallway or like in the meeting room where I end up watching a movie. It's for school, don't worry. And every single time I see her, there is just like a radiance, like there's always something positive going on. And I have never seen you talk negatively or even just like passively about anyone. It's only ever positive things. And that wasn't a cry, I got a cough. That's something that you don't see in a whole lot of people. And to be an advocate requires seeing the positives. And can you see any negatives? I don't know if that's possible. Yeah, you have done a lot, and even though I've really only gotten to know you within the last month or so, already one of the best people that I know. Also, thank you for saving me from a parking ticket.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? Chairperson Haynes?
Yeah, so, what's good? I'd love to tell this story because it's crazy. Annie is one of the first people that I met at WSU, one of the first friends that I made at Wichita State. And I need everyone to blame Annie for the reason that I'm in Senate. So, yeah, blame Annie because she's the person that got me into the SJ space as a whole. So shout out to Annie for that. Again, one of my favorite D1 complainers, but she is also a D1 advocate for so many kinds of people. She's very knowledgeable about just a lot of different things and an excellent resource, a great sounding board, a good person. So she definitely does deserve this opportunity. And she works real hard, y'all. She be in the student advocate office stressing out. So give her this, please.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? Speaker Owens.
I have one last thing to say. As you're all speaking, I'm like, I have more to say about Annie. Annie is the type of person that makes you confront parts of yourself that you never would have thought about or ever wanted to, like the deep, dark parts of yourself where you're like, maybe I should think about that more. Annie and I shared a therapist for a while, and her name was also Victoria. And my absolute favorite thing, she will probably watch this, my absolute favorite thing is to be like, Annie, I need you to talk to me about this thing that I have thoughts about, and she will tell you the truth, but she'll almost make you like confront pieces of yourself, and then you feel compelled to say, thank you. Thank you for making me cry that out and making me think that out and having those conversations. And I really want to reflect it to you all too. As you think about accessibility in spaces like this, I know you will always remember Annie. You will always remember her for the rest of your life because she is a pillar of accessibility, disability pride, and I hope you all think, wow, that's where I learned to advocate for others. That's where I learned, hey, this is how to stand up for others, how to respect yourself and be your own advocate, because that is one of the biggest things I've learned. Roomies for life. You're a friend for life. I love you. That's all I'll say. And I'll cede my time to Noah, if you'd like to say some words.
Oh boy. I've known Annie for a long time. She's technically the first person I ever met who was in SGA. We have some crazy life parallels. It's actually kind of insane. My favorite is that we both handedly lost the SGA presidential election. That's my favorite thing I share in common with you. We're both big troublemakers in anything we get our hands into, which I don't know if that's a brag or not, but we always find issues. And we hated each other for the longest time, and she'll tell you that. I think that's a pretty shared sentiment that we did that. But she's genuinely one of my best friends, and I think she knows more about me than probably most people in my life. And she's super passionate, she's caring. I don't think I've ever met someone who actually cares more about a cause that they advocate for than Annie. It's not just a trend for her. A lot of people, awareness, and they raise awareness, and it kind of seems fake, but you know it's real with Annie. She's educated me on a lot of things. She had no business coming back to SGA, but she did anyway, purely for the love of the game, and I respect that. If you have been in her office, you know she had a wall of women. She would be on my wall of women, and I know that there's going to be someone in the future that will have her on theirs. And I really respect Annie, and I love Annie, and yeah.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? Senator Island?
Just one last thing that I just recently got reminded of. On a much lighter note, I know some of you talked about how Annie is just so knowledgeable about so many things, and I know Leslie can also back me up on this one, but if you have the chance, ask Annie about the 1971 Citizens Commission to investigate the FBI, and she can tell you a lot about it.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? Seeing none, I'm going to close the debating period and we'll go into voting.
Voting is now open. I am so sorry, guys. I accidentally closed voting early. I'm still shaking a little bit and my finger slipped. Okay, please vote again. All right. With 17 yes and 1 abstention, the motion passes.
Okay, we'll now go into 7.5.
Act on request to approve AR-67-026, granting emeritus status to Andrew Bobbitt.
Andrew. One of my favorite Andrews. So I met Andrew Bobbitt through Model UN, which is also similar to our experiences with Annie and so many wonderful people as well. And I really, really looked up to him. I thought he was older than he is. I was like, this man just really seen the test of time. Nope, he's 1 year older than me. I say that with love, because I was like, he just has his stuff together. Like, I've never met someone our age that just like really's got their life together. I mean, you're getting your master's degree in 1 year, which, by the way, you didn't need to do. Taking 18 credit hours a semester, just doing unnecessary stuff because you are that kind of person. And you stepped into the session as not only a pro tem for the government oversight chairperson, Jay Thompson, but I literally looked at you both together as almost parallels of similar people, of like, wow, this is a person who really knows how to make change and knows how to do it efficiently, effectively, and with accountability and transparency. And then whenever I was elected to speaker, I remember one of the first people who came up to me was Andrew, and he was like, congratulations. And I remember that in my head so much. And then when you ran for government oversight chair, I was like, duh, of course. And then I remember one of our first meetings, our first one-on-ones, it was just Andrew saying, so I already know what I'm gonna do. I have 6 different, probably like 8 different bills that I have that I want to put on the floor the first meeting possible. And I just thought to myself, wow, this is a person that I will see do fantastic things throughout not only this session, but in future sessions, not only as, hopefully Emeritus notice, and come back and be like, this is our space. And I think you really can tell when someone loves the game, as Noah so eloquently put. Andrew loves the game. He really does. He loves the Senate. And I think that's a hard thing to find when we find people who genuinely love the Senate for better or for worse and are wanting to make it better. I won't get choked up, I promise. And then as we, navigated this whole session, he immediately had everything he wanted to do. He improved bylaw after bylaw, amendment after amendment, bill after bill, and was like, I have another thing to put on the agenda. His work in the Finance Commission too, advocating for students in his position, is just a testament to what this position can truly do. In years past, where we have reformulated the position to be different, and now it sits in his hands, and there's no one who I could think is better for this position to sit in this role and to ask those hard questions and to raise your hand up one more time because you have one more thing to say. I think we're kind of similar people in that sense, that we always have something to say, and I love that because we need more people like that. Andrew Bobbitt is someone who I can say is my friend and is a confidant and is a person that I will, take his legacy with me wherever I go, because he really encompasses what hard work means in a space where I think, the government oversight position hasn't necessarily been the same. You've really made it your own, and I think you will make it this position for next year and the year after, and they'll look at your work that you've done this session and go, wow, this is what you can really do if you put your head in the sand and open those bylaws and read it one more time. Yeah, that's all I'll say, and I'd love to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, we'll go into the debate period. Does anyone wish to speak in debate? I'm going to go to Chairperson Owens.
Andrew. Hello. I'm being informal, but you'll live. Okay. I met Andrew my sophomore year coming into Model United Nations. I had no idea what it was, and I was prompted to join because Annie said I should. And so I decided to show up, a little confused, as everyone there is a poli-sci major, and I was just a lonely little psychology major at the time who hadn't added criminal justice. And I honestly was terrified to be in this space that I had never been in, to represent countries I had never heard of. And I am humbled to say that I was able to learn a lot from Andrew. During that year, I had never been on a plane before, and I can't thank Bobbitt enough for being the person to shepherd every single plane ride I have ever been on and pave the way for me to be on a plane by myself for the first time this New York trip. So I have to thank him for that because planes are terrifying. And if it wasn't for Bobbitt navigating public transit in Chicago and New York, I would have for sure gotten lost. So I have to thank him for that. He continues to be someone who I have strived to be, which is a leader, but someone who's completely strict and honest and was able to give feedback that is honestly something that a lot of people might feel uncomfortable doing. Seeing a system that needs changes and being like, we need to fix it, and we're gonna fix it, is something I need to thank him for, because some of these processes are very bad. And having someone to advocate for those tough fights that nobody wants to hear is important. I would also say that I have to thank him for the reason I'm going to graduate school. He was the one who introduced me into the Masters for Criminal Justice and was like, here, talk to this person, here, talk to this person. And I would not have applied without him. So thank you, Bobbitt, for being a friend, but also for being a confidant, a sounding board, someone to complain to and turn my brain off in the airport with. So thank you for that.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? Sarah Mallard?
Yeah, I think what Senator Bobbitt really does good at, which has been kind of stated, is that he's hard going, and if he wants something done, he will push and strive to get that policy done. And I think what's also really good is that he will advocate for something that not everyone might like, but he's not upset if we vote against it. But he does it more so to be like a devil's advocate, and that's what gets the Senate speaking, because we really have to do that in terms of, well, does the student body need this? And I also love that. I know a lot of us will sigh sometimes if he's speaking, but we know that it's because it's going to be a good debate, and it's stuff that needs to be talked about. And I will say that a lot of the bills that have been passed is something that I would never want to touch, because I do not want to go through the bylaws and do as much work as he's done. So I thank you for doing that for us.
Would anyone else wish to speak in debate? Sarah Snett?
So I guess one of my first memories of Bobbitt is whenever we were at actually SGA induction, or maybe it's like our first day coming back after the summer session. I can't remember what we call it. I'm sorry. But I really met Bobbitt for the first time there, and ever since then, I just kind of got more comfortable in the Senate because I had like spoken to leadership, and I met Annie and all these other people, but I never really met a senator that was so different from me in the best way possible, and just welcoming me into this space. I cannot thank you enough for that. I also have to respect your attention to detail. I think you're a yapper in the best way. I really do. So I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for the student body. Kind of echoing the sentiments of Josh, you have taken things and changed things that have needed to be changed that none of us really have. I don't want to say that we don't have the grit to do, but the mental willpower to go into all of those different bylaws and all these different things, it's a lot, and I cannot give you more praise and kudos to you for it. So I just think that we should give him emeritus status. There's no reason why we shouldn't. All the people here are deserving, and Bobbitt is equally so.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? Advisor Fonseca?
I'm going to yield some time to the undergraduate advocate.
Hey everybody. First, I'd like to apologize to the prior people. I didn't realize that I could speak, or I would have said nice things about all of you. I'll try to get something worked in to my speech later to thank you. But back to Andrew Bobbitt. I am very, very pleased to see this bill come forward. In fact, at one point I said to somebody that if I were up for emeritus status, I would only want to be granted emeritus status if Andrew Bobbitt was also granted emeritus status. And that is for a number of reasons. The first being that if you ask people outside these chambers who their favorite senator is, the chances of them saying Andrew Bobbitt are exceedingly high. And it's not just because he's on the Sunflower or because he's like the face of the Finance Commission. It's because he genuinely cares. And he genuinely cares about students. And he does not care what anyone in this body thinks about him, other than if it is going to improve and progress the initiative that he's planning to. In this body, he is relentless. And outside of this body, he is relentlessly kind. I have spoken a little bit about being in Model UN, and that is definitely our first entry. And I'm probably sure you don't even remember this, but I will tell you that my freshman year in Model UN, I did not walk away thinking that you were awkward. I came away thinking that you had probably saved my life in a very unknowing way. So for a lot of people that don't know, I have PMDD, which is a cyclic mood disorder. And at the time when we were in Model UN, I had no friends, no one to hang out with, and I really wanted to get something to eat. And I insisted on walking to Taco Bell myself because there's no one to go with me. And it's like New York, guys, so dangerous. And Bobbitt just wouldn't let me go alone. And I don't even remember if we really even talked about anything. But he's always present when he needs to be, and even at this last Model UN conference, if a guy was like pressing up too close to somebody, he was like in the middle, like fending them off. So I do want to also speak to your character. Not only do you champion initiatives that are important to students, you're also incredibly kind. And I do want you to know that you have impacted this body, but also me as a person. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? Yeah, I'll say something. I started with Andrew from Senator Bobbitt when we first joined Senate, and that last session, and we had many countless nights in government oversight, in committees, and working with legislation, especially in the first semester, has been a pleasure. But I have a little mixed feelings with this emeritus bill. I think Senator Bobbitt has done a lot of amazing work in the first semester, but in the second semester, I'm a little hesitant with the bills and with communication. I have a little bit of frustration, but I believe Andrew's an amazing guy. And I think with this emeritus bill, I'll just leave it up to you to make your opinion, but I have mixed feelings, but I believe if he does get it, I would be very happy for him. Does anyone else wish to speak in debate? All right, awesome. I'm going to close the debating period, and we'll go into the voting period.
Voting is open. Could we re-click? All right, with 15 in favor and 16 in favor and 2 abstentions, the motion passes.
I'll hand the chair back over to Speaker Owens.
Hi, friends, I'm back from my perilous journey over there. Okay, so with that, we have more speeches. We will move directly into Section 8, closing remarks. First, we have 6.1, Student Services Chair, Adriana Owens. Yes, you're first.
I want to say first, I might cough up here. Don't be mean about it. I have a bit of a cold. I blame Hatch. When I joined SGA, I was a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed freshman excited to get involved on campus. And during my initial interview with Jacob Tubach, if anyone remembers him, the speaker at the time, he asked me why I wanted to join Senate. I told him that my vision is to ensure that every student feels supported, heard, and empowered. And as I stepped through those doors for the first time, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement, but also deep dread. It felt so intimidating coming into this space with no prior knowledge of how WCU worked or how to use the clickers to vote. I came into the Senate during a turbulent session. If you know, you know. And the work I'm most proud of has been watching each and every one of my committee members become the leaders in their own right, and it's been an incredible privilege to watch all of you grow, talking about you guys. If you've ever been in my committee, thank you. This room has seen me at my absolute angriest and at my most tired. Many long nights, frustrated ties, and homework extensions within these walls. Some advice for the people who will be coming back. Our diversity is our strength. Supporting cultural and diversity-focused events that celebrates the rich backgrounds of our student body is essential and the beating heart of our university. Our campus should be accessible to every student. It's not enough to have just an accessible space. We must strive to continue the work done by Advocate Wassinger and the Accessibility and Disability Task Force to foster disability pride on campus. Think about Sarah, the person who Annie so eloquently explained you might not think of. She doesn't come to class. You might not see her advocating for people, but she exists. And she deserves, she deserves to be heard. Together, we continue to create a campus where every student feels valued, supported, empowered, to achieve the fullest potential of our university. As you all have probably found out during this session, you will not agree with everyone in this room at all the time. You will fight like siblings, but nothing is personal. Check your ego at the door and leave your grudges in this room. When you leave, you'll be better for it. I want to thank you all and more importantly, the students, for the opportunity to serve, to listen, and to make a difference. I want to humbly thank you all for your support on my journey. And I hope one day I'll come back to this room and pester you all to make sure you're advocating for all of the students and your constituents. Thank you. People on the live stream have seen me cry. No, I didn't. You'd cry too if this is your twin. Next, we have the lovely 6.2 Government Oversight Chair, Andrew Bobbitt.
Okay, coming to you guys for probably the last time as Government Oversight Chairperson. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for their time and support during this session. I appreciate the dedication that everyone showed during all the late nights I subjected you to. I know it wasn't everybody's favorite thing, but I appreciate you sticking with me for I promise the work that we did this session will leave an impact, and hopefully those of you who would return next session will be able to enjoy the systems and processes that we created, and hopefully they work. If it turns out not to be the case, I wish you all well, and I sincerely apologize. I distinctly recall having wonderful ideas last session that we had to go and clean up this year, and whoever takes on that responsibility, my heart goes out to you, because it's hard. Then, the journey of a senator can best be described as a journey of intention and knowledge. A lot of our senators start out with noble intentions and a drive to help the student body, but they lack the knowledge needed to apply their intentions. As they grow in the Senate, they build skills and connections, but the longer they participate, the more tired they get. The challenge that I have for all of you is to take the good intentions and ideas you have developed and apply them to the next session. So many ideas and initiatives fall victim to the confines of time, and while our session is over, the work continues. Not all of you will be returning next year, but that does not mean you cannot still continue advocating for the student body and the work of the Senate. I know I've talked to a lot of you this year, and we didn't get to everyone's objectives, but that doesn't mean that the work you proposed and the ideas you had weren't valid and in need of enactment. It takes time, it takes effort, but I have full faith that those of you who will return will get the support and attention you need to bring your initiatives to the forefront of student government's efforts. If your ideas were not able to be accomplished this year, partner with someone who is returning so that they can continue the initiative and champion your ideas in the future. Much of the work I was able to accomplish and recommend did not start with me, and I stand on the shoulders of those who have come before. While I may not always agree with some of the decisions that our predecessors made, I do respect that they were making the best decision they could at the time. I think we've all asked Dr. Fonseca, why is that initiative the way it is? And we all love it when Dr. Fonseca said, well, the Senate had an idea. And for better or for worse, everyone does what they think is right at the time, but it's the responsibility of each session to adjust and adapt with the changes. I had the good fortune of coming into a Senate full of veterans who shared their knowledge and time to help me succeed. And while some of those figures are gone, still quite a few remain in this room. All of you, like it or not, are now the experienced senators. When you come in next year, you each have a responsibility to shape and guide those who may be new to the body. Not everyone's going to understand why things are the way they are, and a little dissent and a little argument is good for those processes. But it's important that you take the skills and knowledge that you've acquired this year to be a champion for the student body. One of the things that causes bills to be successful and initiatives to get passed and the attention to be continuously placed on them is continued advocacy over a long period of time. I know with the speaker, there were initiatives that she started way back in her first year that have just come to fruition now. I know that Chairperson Owens spent a lot of time working on the sabbatical bill and working to make sure that this space was accessible to everyone. Not everything can be accomplished in a single session, nor should it be. And we need to make sure we're taking the time and the energy to do our best to improve the systems. There's a lot of things and a lot of challenges that all of you will face next year that we did not have to this year. And I just want you all to know that the challenge you face will pass and the Senate will come out stronger. While this year we enjoyed a relatively robust environment, we had millions of dollars to our name and no worries. That may not be the case next year. And I don't envy the task before you guys. A lot of you will have to make a lot of hard decisions very early into the next session. And while those of us who can be here will still be around to help guide and advocate for the student body, at the end of the day, we place our faith in you, and we hope that you guys will champion initiatives and everything that is to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have 6.3 undergraduate advocate Annie Wassinger.
Hey everybody, I was a little more focused on Hatch being sick, so I don't have a prepared speech, but I'm just gonna let my heart guide me and hope that that is the right choice. First, I did want to say a thank you, not only for granting me emeritus status, but also for your kind words. We spoke a little bit about how I first joined in the 64th session as a freshman senator, along with Adriana, way back when with Senator Unruh, Senator Williams too. We were, I think there were like 20 people that night that we all got in together at the same time. But then I had the failed presidential attempt. Thank you for mentioning that. It was a failed vice presidential attempt. Thank you very much. I didn't try to be the president, unlike you. Anyways, I did find myself as an at-large senator the next session, and then I wasn't in Senate. And the reason I wasn't in Senate was because of this body, was because of the people who sat in the seats that you sat in. You know, bureaucracy can be tough, and being young and having enough perceived power can be tough, and being a young woman in the midst of it all can be really tough. And there were people in the room who made me feel like I was worthless, like I shouldn't be anywhere in the world, let alone advocating on behalf of other students. And I let those people get to me. And I did not speak loud enough against that. I let people continue to run this narrative. And I really hid away from a lot of things. And when I decided to apply to be the student advocate, everyone in my life was like, what the hell are you doing? Really, what are you doing? Because it's student government, and that like ruined your life. Like, you were so sad and you were heartbroken and you didn't think that anything you did mattered. Why would you do that? But I had this thing that I wanted to do my senior year. I don't suggest it, but it worked out for me. And it was called Going Back to All the Places That Broke Me. So I rejoined every group that I'd ever felt horrible in, and I went back to every place that had almost broken me, and I tried to have an experience that was different. And I can say that that experience was not only different because I had grown, but it was different because the people around me had grown. And I cannot say a bigger thank you to Kylie Hauer, because it took a lot for me to believe in myself to take the step and apply to be the student advocate. But it took so much more for you and for Matthew to take a risk on me, because you hadn't worked directly with me. And you missed a lot of the work that I had done early on, but you trusted me and you trusted my vision, and I truly cannot thank you enough for allowing me back into this space. And I want you all to know, I know a lot of you are not coming back next session, and that's perfectly fine. I wasn't here all 4 sessions. It doesn't mean that you won't leave an impact, and it also doesn't mean that you can't come back. So know that this space is always open to you, but also I want you each to know that you made this space so welcoming. I would have been honored to sit among you as a senator. I wish I could have. You are all lovely people. You inspire change rather than fear. You're not the old guard. You usher in new legacies. You're all very, very well adept, and I really could not have asked for a better group of people to work with as I was the undergraduate senator, or the undergraduate advocate. I also want to speak a little bit about the amendments. I was literally tears streaming down my face when it passed. I just couldn't really believe it that it was going to happen. And I kept convincing myself that Bobbitt was going to I don't know, run some big thing and it was all going to go downhill. But I cannot thank you enough for that, and I do want to encourage you. It does still have to go to the Faculty Senate. We still have to fight for that. They still have to approve it. And then even then you have to make sure that people abide by it. You have to make sure that it is upheld and make sure that those rights are maintained. I'd like to leave you with just a little bit of a quote from Maya Angelou, Queen. People will forget what you said and people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I would like you all to know that you made me feel very valued in this space, a space that I historically have felt undervalued and taken for granted. I cannot thank you enough for being the leaders you are and for seeing me as a leader too. Thank you.
Becky, if you're watching this, Bob too. We love you and we love your daughter. Okay, now we move on to 6.4. Kylie Howard will speak for our graduate advocate, Donna Tran.
Hello. I have some remarks from Donna Tran. Unfortunately, she was unable to be here tonight, but just know that everything that's coming out of my mouth, picture Donna right here instead. So, from Donna. To my fellow Shockers and to the incredible colleagues and friends of the 67th session of SGA, words truly cannot express the depth of my gratitude. It has been an honor not only to cross paths with you all, but to proudly stand beside you in advocating for and representing our fellow students. Serving as graduate student advocate has been one of the most meaningful chapters of my journey here. In this space, I've learned what it truly means to lead with compassion, to listen deeply, and to stand firm in the face of challenge, not just for myself, but for those voices who aren't always heard in the room. I've learned that advocacy isn't always loud. It's often quiet, persistent, and grounded in empathy. To the current members who will continue into the 68th session, your dedication, heart, and leadership have already left a lasting impact. I have no doubt that you will continue to raise the bar and push for meaningful change. Your presence is powerful, and your continued service is a gift to our community. And to the incoming members, step into this role with curiosity and courage. Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge norms, and advocate unapologetically for the communities that you serve. You belong here, and your voice matters more than you know. Lead with heart, listen with intention, and remember that your impact may reach far beyond what you see. Thank you all, and thank you to this space for the growth, lessons, and opportunities this role has offered me. I leave this position with a full heart, immense pride, and hope for the powerful work that you will all continue to do.
Kylie Howard, our lovely president, will also speak for lovely Hafsa.
Yes, Hafsa also, my queen, could not be here tonight. But Hafsa just wanted to say that she really wants to thank everyone for their support for her in this position, and that she truly appreciates everyone on the team for giving her some of the best memories at Wichita State University.
And everyone should be grateful for her because she took fabulous pictures of you all. She is so lovely. Okay, next we have 6.5 Student Body Chief Justice Leslie Hernandez.
I'm going to be honest, when I wrote the speech, I was feeling a little serious. And then I walked in and I was just really humbled by what you guys were all saying about each other. I pretty much teared up in the back. So live stream can't catch that, I don't think. So I just want to thank you all. I know I don't have direct work relations with a lot of you, but I still see you all on campus and in different spaces, and I've always appreciated your kindness and just your willingness to serve the student body. I know you guys spend late nights. I'm fortunate to say that my nights are not as late, but I still do enjoy seeing the work you guys do, what you bring up, because I do watch the videos, just letting you know I'm one of the views on there. So when I came to campus last year, I was on the fence about student government. I heard a lot of negative things. It may have just been the people I encountered that had negative experiences, and it was something that I knew coming onto campus that was a space I wanted to be a part of, but it took a lot for me to decide to join, and it's honestly been one of the best decisions I've made. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I'm coming back next session, but I truly think that giving a space a chance is one of the greatest decisions anyone can make, and many of you have pointed that out as well. And so I want to commend you all too, because I'm sure you all hear negative things about SG as well, but you're still here. And that shows how much you care about the student body, how much you care about advocating for others in general. These are things that are going to follow you all for the rest of your lives. It's important to speak up for others, and it's important to do it now and always. Yeah, like I said, when I was writing this, I felt a little serious, so I guess I'll mention that we do have an online form for the court, which has been great. And we did receive less cases this year, but I think that is a reflection of, it could be a reflection of a lot of things. It could be a reflection of your guys' ability to handle things on your own and not need the court's interpretation. It could be it could mean that students don't know about the court. So obviously I'm gonna continue to work to outreach, but I want to thank Senator Bobbitt for always making sure that the court has something to work on and has something to to interpret. And I mean that genuinely. I think the court has, even in previous sessions, admired senators like Senator Bobbitt, who genuinely care about making sure that the student government is working in all branches and that it's working to its fullest capacity. So thank you. I also want to thank Speaker Owens and President Hauer for being great examples of, okay, hold on, women in power. Oh my gosh, like I said, I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I think, sorry guys, once I start crying, it's so hard for me to stop. I think in a time when so many people are being undervalued and just diminished, it's great to see that. Okay, now I saw Amy's crying, so it's just gonna go. I think it's great to be working alongside two individuals, and obviously all of you who continue to work for that. And that's why I think student government is such a great place to practice all of these things, how to advocate for others, because it doesn't stop when you graduate. It doesn't stop when the session ends. It's always going to continue. And I encourage you all to keep fighting. And I'll see you all next session. But I just think it's always a good reminder of why we all are here and why we should continue to connect with students. I'm sorry, I spoke from my mind, so it was probably all over the place, but I really do want to thank you all and commend you for all the work that you do. And I encourage you to keep going, but also check in with yourself when it feels like you can't. So thank you.
You almost got me crying there. I had to stop myself because I'm the same. Once I start crying, I won't stop. Okay, we have 6.6, Student Body Vice President Matthew Vaughn.
I really can't believe this is it. It's been an honor and pleasure to serve as your Student Body Vice President for the 67th session. When I first joined Wichita State and joined the Freshman Leadership Council, I couldn't have possibly imagined that I would have joined Senate. But with encouragement from my fellow FLC members, literally I can't believe we stuck all the way through up to now. And then from former senators, if David Liu, if you're watching this, you definitely encouraged me to join Senate. But it was such a great learning experience and a great bonding experience in my time in Senate. I would also say at the end of the 66th session, I will never forget the golf cart ride that Kylie, Jalen, and I took to the Child Development Center where she asked me to be her running mate. And it took me a while to make a decision, but I have absolutely no regrets about my decision. Thank you, Kylie, for taking the leap of faith and waiting for me to make a decision. If you asked me to run with you again, I would do it all over, no hesitation. I'll miss all of our keyboard drives, our late night chats, and just life in the office. I want to extend my everlasting gratitude to our members of our cabinet, to Amy, Annie, Anshika, Donna, Hafsa, John Wang, Kaylee, Lily, Tab, and Xavier. We couldn't have done any of our goals or initiatives without you. I would also like to say a special thank you to Dr. Fonseca, and if any of you are watching, to Abby Whistler, Brandon Dorian, Brandon McLean, and Lauren Ballou for your unwavering support throughout my journey here at Wichita State and SGA. I couldn't have done it without any of you encouraging me throughout the whole way, you just have my everlasting gratitude, and I really do appreciate everything that you do for the students. I also would like to thank David Kidd and Nick Crawley, the rest of the RSC staff, and the captains for sticking with us throughout the whole journey, especially for all my hand movements that I have throughout our Senate meetings. I really do appreciate you all. I would also like to thank every senator that spent our 1 a.m. meetings that we had, reaching out to all the students, tabling at all of our events, and really making your voice be heard in the spot. You really do make a difference to the student body. I appreciate all the amazing work that you all do. Thank you to all the students that allow us to advocate for you, the valuable feedback and opinions that you had, even if it's 60 emails about the inclement weather policy. We appreciate everything that you have to say for us, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to meet as many of you as humanly possible throughout my time here. I'm so proud to call SGA a place to call home. It was a little rough at first, little rough troubles, but I'm so proud to get to know every single one of you, and it's truly been an experience that I will never forget. I'm so excited for the upcoming session, the upcoming administration. I'm so excited for inauguration tomorrow. But for the last time as Vice President, we've got your back, and go Shocks.
It's my turn, so I'll just go over there. Clap for Matthew one more time. Thank you. Okay, I, like Leslie, wrote a serious speech that I'm gonna skip around because I don't need to say all this, stuff you'll probably hear at the banquet. But good evening, everyone. No, I won't be that serious, I promise. Okay, 1 year ago, not to this day, but 1 year ago, I stood at this podium and I raised my hand to be confirmed as the 6th Speaker of the Student Senate. As I stood before you tonight, at the close of the 67th session of the Student Government Association, I am filled with both gratitude and pride. It has been an honor to serve as your Speaker of the Student Senate this past year, And I honestly remember, one of the first things I remember when I got confirmed was rushing over to hug lovely Jasmine. As she whispered, and I won't cry, and don't you cry because I'll cry. She whispered some of the most important words I so needed at the time was, "I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad you won." And I didn't expect the lovely Evelyn to go up and nominate me for this position at all. Didn't expect it. I was like, oh, I guess so. And I ran against some of the most lovely people possible, and I am just so grateful that I was given the opportunity and privilege to serve as your Speaker of the Senate. Over the last 4 years, as you all know, I have had the honor and privilege to serve in various capacities within this organization, from Academic Affairs Chair in the 65th session to Student Services Chair in the 66th session, and now as your Speaker of the Senate in the 67th session. Each chapter has brought its own challenges, triumphs, and lessons, but none of them has been as transformative as this year for me. When we began the 67th session, we did so with the promise to lead with advocacy and representation. We entered with new leadership, fresh energy, and ambitious goals, and I was proud to introduce our dynamic Senate leadership team, Diana Grajeda, Andrew Bobbitt, AJ Haynes, Adriana Owens, and Noah Carter, who have been and shown commitment and heart to their respective roles. And together we have worked tirelessly to build a Senate defined by unity, impact, inclusivity, and forward movement. We made so many necessary changes to the structure of the Senate over the last couple of years, namely implementing new weekly meetings in order for that format to work more cohesively and to be more productive. We launched Senator Development Meetings to provide our members with hands-on learning experience through practical workshops, guidance on everything from legislative drafting to constituent engagement. And these lessons didn't just build skills, they built confidence. And I'm truly proud that we're able to transition our senators into this space. One of the proudest accomplishments that I can say was my 20-page senator guide that has only grown as we have continued to be in the session, now at a whopping 40 pages. I know, you all will receive that next year, whoever shows up. But it's a tool that I wish I had when I first walked into this space. And knowing the power of preparation, I also tasked each of our committee chairs to create their own transition guides as well, ensuring that institutional knowledge no longer leaves with people, but stays for them and with them as they transition into the space. And we didn't stop there, team, we didn't. We tackled difficult conversations around funding, appropriations. We had our lovely treasurer who guided us through that process, and we were able to build upon that progress. When our RSOs came to us in need, we responded. When we needed to discuss the student fee shortfall, we responded, and we did so with empathy, kindness, and respect. We created the ADHD, Autism, and Learning Disability Scholarship, tackled issues on parking, accommodations in the classroom, passed Ice Out Ice, OSAP motor vehicles, no smoking and vaping signage acts, diversity training, and so much more. And that builds on the spirit of cooperation and has truly been a cornerstone of this session. We also adapted to change, whether that meant rethinking how we live stream meetings or how to maintain accessibility or hold open, transparent conversations with our student body. We passed legislation that will shape future elections and expanded our efforts to ensure every voice has the opportunity to be heard. We passed 26 association resolutions and 190 Senate bills as of today. As this chapter comes to a close, I want to speak directly to my senators here, both those who remain and those who will follow into the 68th session. Your impact is real. What you do in this room echoes beyond these walls, and you've shown up not only for yourselves, but for thousands of students who depend on your leadership. The ladder is no longer the only way up. We've built bridges that future leaders will walk across because of the work you've all done together. So my final words here to every senator, chairperson, advisor, and student who supported us this session, thank you. Your dedication has made this year one of growth, resilience, and transformation. So my senators, I have to extend my flowers to you all. I never thought I would be in this space again and feel so safe, listened to, heard, and you truly have made this leadership experience the easiest it could have been, because you all are fabulous. You all are so kind, empathetic, and if anyone knows, and from the conversations we've all had, there have been very contentious Senate sessions. And now that I sit in this room, I'm looking on the progress built by Kylie Hauer, who was our lovely speaker, and so many other members of leadership who built this space to be as inclusive as it is now. And I just have to extend my flowers to you all, because that is hard work. Thank you for being kind, even though that seems like a bare minimum, but thank you, because it's not always been this inclusive. And I will also say, in an interview I had recently, they asked me what my legacy was. I would say it's you all. You're my legacy. You're my end-all, be-all. You resound and echo the work that I have done as a leader, and this leadership space truly is built for and by all of you. And I'm just here to help you move along your process and to build yourselves up. And so it has been a privilege to serve you all. To Diana, you're not here, you're sickly, but that's okay, we love you. Thank you for our conversations, our talks, your commitment to academic excellence, and the fantastic work you've not only done in my committee when we were together, but also as a leader, the work you've done for FLC, and the work you continue to do to brighten up everybody's day, and to also usher new leadership into these types of spaces. To Adriana, my sister, my twin, my heart, thank you for all that you do. And you will continue to be an excellent source of excellence for everybody. Accessibility, empathy, kindness. AJ, who's not here, but I will make him watch it. AJ was my resident one of my first years here. And he was one of the funniest, kindest, and also realest persons I've ever met. He's incredibly honest, and I have never met someone more honest than AJ. I will always cherish and love our conversations where we just get to kiki in my office and just talk about whatever we need to, and our conversations about wide-ranging issues and topics. And he's just really someone you turn to when you're like, I need someone to be real with me, I need them to be straight with me, and AJ is your guy. And his excellent service to leadership in all of his years here is really a testament to his experience and his his legacy in this space as well. Noah, thank you for all that you do, for doing all of the minutes when I know that's not the most fun job in the world. And even though you're not allowed to technically say anything in these types of spaces, I know that after each meeting you'll always have something to say, and I'm always prepared and waiting for it, because I'm excited to know what Noah has to say. And then to Gabe, in my many years here, I have always looked up to Gabe as not only a source of guidance and leadership, but also as someone who I hope to be one day and hope to continue, doing all the stuff that he does. He's one of those people that when you go into space, you're like, I feel safe. Why is that? It's because of Gabe. I was talking to him the other day and I was like, you're kind of like a personality hire. And I meant that in the best way. Because I was like, you're not only promoting excellence and important work and doing a little bit too much. You do too much for the students. But you also bring about such an air of professionalism and personality that I hope to achieve. You toe the line of both of those things in such a perfect way, and you really show what it means to be a leader and not only to be a boss. You champion excellence, equity, kindness, and I thank you for that. Brandon, same to him. Brandon, thank you for all that you do. I'm sorry you're not here anymore, but you really have shaped me as a leader. And to Kylie and Leslie, thank you for also being my fellow women in leadership. I was so excited to start the session with some really amazing women who I look up to so much. And I can't thank you enough for the work you do for your students, but also for the work you will continue to do in next sessions and also in the future. If I ever see you in professional settings in the future, I'll be like, oh, I know her. We're gonna be safe. We'll be just fine because they're here. And then to Matthew, Jonwin, and all of our other members of leadership, Amy, thank you so much for all you do. You have really shown what it means to be a part of the executive branch in a way that I think will champion excellence for future sessions to come. I think when it comes to these types of positions, you've really set a fabulous standard. And I'm so excited to see what you all do in this next session as both leadership and also just as students and people too. Yeah, and then I also, for our lovely members in the back too, thank you so much for all that you do and always giving the thumbs up at the start of each meeting. We literally could not do it without you. But as I prepare to step away from this role, I will carry with me the voices of those I've served, the lessons I've learned, and the friendships we've built. It has been a privilege to raise my placard in the name of student advocacy and equity, and to stand shoulder to shoulder with each of you. The work is never finished, but now it's time to pass the gavel and trust on the strength of what we built. Let's continue building this hand in hand with our unique experiences and diverse backgrounds lighting the way. Thank you. Whoa, what a long speech, am I right? Okay, now we will have our association's advisor, Dr. Gabriel Fonseca.
Hey. Mine is fairly long, I'm sorry. I said 2 minutes for everybody else so I could have all the time. So as we are coming together for our final meeting of the 67th session, I want to start with something simple but important. Thank you. Thank you for your time, for your heart, and thank you for your belief that students' voices matter, and that when students show up, speak up, and work together, change is possible. Because of you, students had someone in this room who cared. Because of you, ideas became action. And because of you, the university became a better version of itself. This space, this community, is something truly special. Yes, it's always about the policies, the budgets, the bills, the formalities, the votes, the resolutions, but it's also about the people. It's about growth. It's about rising to challenges and learning to lead with both purpose and compassion. To our graduating members, you've reached a milestone and the end of one chapter, but your story is just getting started. As you prepare to walk across the stage in a couple of weeks, know this: you're leaving behind more than just accomplishments, you're leaving behind a legacy. You made this campus better, more inclusive, and more responsive because you cared enough to act. As you head into the world, whether it's graduate school, new jobs, or new dreams, I hope that you carry this truth with you. You've already know how to make a difference. You've done it here, and I can't wait to see what you do out there. To those who are reelected, congratulations. The trust earned through your dedication and your service is not something to be taken lightly. This is your moment to build up for what's come before, to be bolder, more thoughtful, and to uplift others as you rise. Remember, the best leaders don't just hold space, they create space. They listen, they challenge, and they inspire. And I know you'll continue to do just that. To everyone else, whether this was your first year or your last, please hear me when I say this. Leadership is not all about having the answers. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again and again and again, sometimes till 1 a.m., with open ears and open heart and the willingness to stand for something bigger than yourself. And that's exactly what you've done. In a world that sometimes feels uncertain, you chose to lead. You chose to serve. You chose community over comfort and progress over apathy. And that matters. And you matter. Before I close, I want to offer a few thanks to a few folks. To the Senate leadership, thank you for your tireless dedication, for leading with conviction, and for setting a standard of excellence. Your service has not gone unnoticed. To the members of the Supreme Court, thank you for your wise minds, your thoughtful deliberations, and the fairness and care in which you handled every decision. I know you are not often at the forefront, but your words carry so much weight to the body because you ensure fairness within this government. To the President's Cabinet, thank you for your hard work, for your time behind the scenes, for your time up front and center, and for the commitment you have shown to the students of this university. The student government would not work without your time and your dedication. To Speaker Victoria Owens, thank you for your light, your joy, and your authenticity you brought into every space you stepped into. Your energy is magnetic. You have a way of making people feel welcome, valued, and heard, whether they're the first in the meeting or the final one. You reminded us that leadership doesn't always have to be serious to be so impactful. It can be fun, full of life, and still deeply rooted in purpose. Your passion for students, for equity, and for making campus better was evident in everything that you touched. And your laughter, it lifted the room. Thank you for being a source of positivity, creativity, and connection throughout this year. You made SGA feel like home. To Chief Justice Leslie Hernandez, thank you for your consistency, your care, and the way that you quietly held things together behind the scenes. You may not always seek the spotlight, but your impact is undeniable. Your dedication, your attention to detail, and your loyalty to this work has made all the difference. You showed us what it's like to lead with humility and with strength, and to support others while still standing confidently in your own voice. You're someone people can count on through the challenges, through the long nights, and through the moments that really matter. Thank you for your heart that you poured into this year. To Jawin, our student body treasurer, thank you for leading with such heart, diligence, and quiet strength. In every budget meeting, every financial decision, and every tough conversation, you showed up with integrity and care. You never treated this work just as numbers on a spreadsheet. For you, it was about making sure that student dollars were respected, protected, and used to create meaningful impact. You brought such grace to a role that is often thankless. Your calm presence, your sharp mind, and your unwavering sense of fairness set the tone for how we approach our responsibilities as stewards of student resources. But beyond your skill, what stood out most was your heart. You carried yourself with humility and with deep love for this work, and that made people trust you, follow you, and believe in the decisions that you made. Thank you, Jawin, for embodying what it means to lead with both excellence and empathy. You reminded us that numbers are not just numbers, they represent people, priorities, and values. To Matthew Fun, our student body vice president, you led with quiet strength, never needing to be the loudest voice, but always being one of the most respected. Your guidance came with maturity beyond your years, a thoughtfulness that made space for others, and a calm presence that often helped steady the course when things got hard. You reminded us that leadership isn't just about the spotlight, it's about showing up, listening well, and making sure others feel seen and supported. You brought balance, insight, and grace to this administration, and I truly believe of the years of successes were possible because of your influence behind the scenes. Thank you for your service and for your heart. You've made a lasting impact. And finally, to Kylie. Kylie, thank you. Thank you for your fearlessness, for standing tall in moments when it could have been easier to, oh my gosh. Hold up. Ooh. Thank you for standing tall in moments when it would have been easier to step back, for speaking truth even when it was hard, for walking into rooms where the air was thick with challenge and choosing not to just stay, but to lead. Thank you for your shocker pride, for loving this campus with your whole heart and never losing sight of the students you serve, and for reminding us again and again why this work matters. Oh my God. But most of all, thank you for your resilience, for rising above everything that was thrown at you, the criticisms, the obstacles, the late nights, the pressure. You met all of it with grace, grit, and an unwavering commitment. You didn't just carry the title student body president, you carried people. You carried the weight of responsibility, you carried the expectations, and you still found a way to lift others up along the way. You have led with heart, with clarity, and with unmatched dedication. And whether people know it or not, you have changed this place. You've reminded us that leadership isn't about perfection, it's about presence. It's about courage, and it's about love. And you, Kylie, are a leader in every sense of the word. Thank you for all of it. So as we wrap this year, I leave you with this. Take pride in what you've accomplished. Take time to rest because you've earned it. And most of all, take the lessons, the relationships, and the growth from this experience into every room that you step into next. Because the world doesn't just need leaders, it needs leaders like you. Congratulations to our graduates, to our returning members, and congratulations to each and every one of you for showing up, for giving your all, and for reminding us all what leadership truly looks like. It has been an honor of a lifetime to walk beside you this year. Thank you.
Best for last. 6.9, Student Body President Kylie Hauer.
I want to start this off by saying if I cry, I'm sorry. And also, if this sounds literally awful, I'm sorry. I haven't actually gotten a chance to read through this entire speech yet. I was writing it on my couch today at 3 p.m. off the record. But it's also going to be a long one, so buckle up. I'm sorry. Hello and good evening to everyone joining us in person and virtually for the last meeting of the 67th session of Student Government Association. My name is Kylie Hauer, and as hard as it is for me to grasp in this moment, this is the last time that I will be addressing my amazing peers as your 118th student body president. I cannot believe that in all of my years in student government, they have finally come to a close. I honestly still feel like I just walked through those doors for the first time. It still has not quite hit me yet that we are already done, despite the fact that Gabe has managed to remind me every day for the past week that I am no longer special after he evicted me from my office on Friday. Tragic. Being able to stand before you all as your student body president for the 67th session has been one of the greatest honors of my life, and I cannot begin to express my eternal gratitude to the individuals that helped put me here today. First, I want to start by thanking my parents and best friends, Doug and Sonia Hauer, Riley McMillan, and Tessa Fry, for believing in me, supporting me, and never allowing me to settle for anything less than greatness. I am so blessed to have such strong figures in my life to look up to and guide me, and I'm forever grateful for every sacrifice that they made to bring me here. Next, I would like to thank everyone in Senate leadership and the judicial branch for being able to work with the Hauer-Fawn administration this year to accomplish some amazing goals. One of the highlights this session has been sitting in the office, and gossiping about anything and everything under the sun, and I'm so grateful for the culture that we've built this year, in contrast to the tension and the drama that used to fill this space. I was so lucky to serve alongside two other incredible women, Victoria Owens and Leslie Hernandez. I think they deserve another round of applause. You both have left such a positive impact in my life, and I cannot thank you enough for your remarkable leadership in your respective branches. Next, I would like to thank every member of our phenomenal cabinet this year. Amy Nguyen, thank you. Annie Wassinger, thank you. Anshika Chauhan, thank you. Donna Tran, she ain't here, thank you. Hafsa Sadaf, she also ain't here, thank you. Ja Wen Wang, thank you. Kaylee Fritz, thank you. Lily Arens, thank you. God, are you guys like tired of hearing me yet? Xavier Westbrook, thank you. Tavanga Munjay, thank you. You have all been the best gift to me this year. I have had the absolute privilege of serving with you all and watching each and every one of you grow as leaders on this campus and as individuals. At the beginning of this session, most of us barely knew each other, and I can gladly say that by the end of this session, I have come to know and appreciate each and every one of you more and more every day. I hope I didn't annoy you all too bad, because seeing you all for cabinet meetings and catching up with you was my favorite part of being in this office. You are all such incredible individuals with so much passion, ambition, and talent. I cannot wait to see all of the amazing things that you guys go on to accomplish, and I hope that you all know that near or far away, I will never stop cheering for you all. Next, I would like to thank the Dr. Advisor Gabriel Fonseca. I am so beyond grateful for the endless support that you have shown me throughout this session. Lord knows that I annoyed the life out of him probably every single day. Thank you for seeing the vision that Matthew and I laid out at the beginning of this session. Thank you for supporting me and encouraging me even when I was scared and didn't want to do it. Thank you for being there for me for the ups and downs in my term and in my life. You have such an incredible ability to change the lives of so many students that you work with. To be so honest, I was actually terrified of him when I first met him. But I'm so glad to say that from that first day in Senate until now, having gotten to know him more, he is one of the best people ever and has been such a safe space for me. I'm so lucky to have learned from you what leadership and service look like. Thank you as well to Brandon McLean, even though he's not here now, but I bet you he's watching, for taking a chance on me and pushing me to be the best version of myself. You pushed me to put myself out there even when I had no faith in myself. Thank you. Lastly, I want to thank my Vice President, Matthew Fawn, for everything that you've poured into this university and this organization. Never have I met a better man than you, and I could not have selected a better partner to embark on this journey with. At the beginning of this chapter, Matthew and I were not super close with one another, but by the end of this journey, I can gladly say that I know all of his family lore like the back of my hand, and he knows way more about my personal life than most people probably should. Matthew has seen me at some of my highest and lowest points this year and has showed up every single day to work tirelessly for the students at this university. Matthew taught me so much about what it means to be a leader as well. If there's one thing that Matthew does really well, it's leading by example. Matthew leads with his heart and by his actions. I am so proud of everything that he has set out to accomplish and every positive change that we have been able to make on this campus in our time here. If I could do this term over and over again, trust me, I wish I could, I would choose you every single time to fight these battles with me. All of the success that we've accomplished this year, I owe completely to Matthew and his leadership. Thank you for being not only a phenomenal leader and vice president, but an amazing friend as well, especially when I needed you most. This term was full of challenges, despite the fact that we made it look so flawless to the people looking in from the outside. Not only did I face a number of curveballs in this position, but I faced a lot of unexpected challenges in my personal life that I had to learn to balance on top of doing this job and being in school. I hope I did a good job of keeping it together, but I would be lying if I said that there were days that I could barely get out of bed, let alone come to work without being incredibly anxious and depressed. Some of the people in this room do not probably know the scope of the battles that I have fought this year, but I mean it when I say that you all have not only changed my life, but you've saved it. Despite everything that I have had to overcome this year, I have never felt a lack of support and friendship from the people in this organization, and that is something I'm incredibly proud of and grateful for. Not to mention, we were able to accomplish some amazing things this year. One of the projects I'm most proud of is relocating our beloved community garden. What started as a logistical challenge became a shared victory, a new space that's more accessible, more visible, and full of fresh potential. See what I did there? Huh? I've seen students come together, get their hands dirty, literally, and grow something beautiful, and I think that that is the spirit of the Wichita State community. Throughout the year, Matthew and I have had the privilege of meeting with so many of our student organizations, from cultural groups to academic and professional societies. Each one left me more and more inspired by your passion, creativity, and dedication. You've reminded me time and time again that leadership isn't about one voice, it's about listening to many. And in one of the most exciting milestones, we saw record high voter turnout in our student elections for the past 9 years. And that tells me that we care, not just about what happens on campus, but about your role in shaping it. You showed up, you spoke up, and you made sure that your voices were heard. Thank you to every student who shared an idea, attended a meeting, asked a tough question, or offered a word of encouragement. Thank you to the faculty, staff, and advisors who supported us behind the scenes. Thank you to the RSC staff for sticking it out, even though I know that we're probably like your least favorite part of the week, but we appreciate you all. And again, thank you to my incredible team. Your tireless work made this year possible. Lastly, I have some advice that I want to pass on to you all as I step down from this position. Throughout my time in student government, a certain saying has consistently rang through my head. He does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And I think that this sums up not only my journey in student government, but everyone sitting here tonight. Throughout my journey in SGA and in leadership, I've continuously told myself, I can't do this. I'm not ready for this. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm sure several others have had similar thoughts in this body. But the beautiful thing about leadership is that it's not about being the most qualified. It's about having the most heart. You can teach someone to do the job, but you cannot teach drive, passion, and dedication. You cannot teach the desire to serve. That is a shared quality that binds all of us together with one mission, to put students first. And I can gladly say that we, as one united body and voice, have done just that this year. I also want to remind you all that nobody can tell you who you are, what you're made of, or what you're capable of but yourself. Nobody can tell you what you can and can't achieve. I cannot stress the importance of surrounding yourselves with people who pull you up, hold you accountable, and keep you strong. This year in particular, and being in this position, really put into perspective for me the people who cared to see me succeed and the people who were there to serve as a lesson. You are all amazing, capable individuals who deserve success and happiness in your time here. I seriously believe that you will all accomplish amazing things, and I cannot wait to watch from the sidelines for my last semester here. I am infinitely grateful for the community, support, and home that I have gained from Wichita State University. Coming to college and joining Senate, I had no idea who I was and who I wanted to be. But as I walk away from this position, I can gladly say that I have found a passion and a purpose with the help of my mentors and friends at Wichita State. I can confidently say that hearing all of your kind words tonight has made every late night, every heated conversation, and every tear I've shed over this job absolutely worth it. Thank you all for your hard work during the 67th session, and I wish the best of luck to the next administration, okay, to carry the torch and lead this body to greatness. For the students stepping into the space for future sessions, remember at all times that students come first. P.S. That also includes yourselves. To echo the sentiment of my good friend and Vice President Matthew Fawn one last time, we've got your back now and forever. Thank you.
Let me blink the tears away so I can do this adjournment. Okay. As this brings us to section 9, sine die adjournment. Members of the association, with the honor and privilege of serving you and the business before the 67th session of the Student Government Association now concluded, by the authority vested in me by the power of the Constitution of the student body, this government will now be adjourned. Sine die.